Hello, my name is John Lord and welcome to Accounting 163, your auditing course. I will be your instructor for this semester, so welcome. If you've made it this far, you are now in Canvas and have at least figured out how to log in. And I'm going to be giving you some information about how to work your way through the course here in Canvas. Some of you may be familiar with this learning management system. For others of you, it may be somewhat new. It is fairly new here at College of San Mateo. I think this is the first semester that we have rolled this out. And so some of you may be used to web access. Going forward, the college is going to be moving over to Canvas, and since this is a fairly new course for me anyway, and for the campus, we are using Canvas this semester. So I'm going to give you a little bit of some thoughts on how to successfully navigate through that, as well as talk a little bit here about the course, and also give you some background information about myself. In fact, why don't we start with that? I am a CPA here in the state of California, and I got my experience working with the federal government, an agency called the Government Accountability Office. GAO is the audit and investigative arm of Congress. Spent about almost 30 years with the GAO doing first, financial statement audit. As I mentioned, that's how I got my experience for my license. And I was on a variety of financial statement audits, ranging from the audit of the Internal Revenue Service financial statements. Yes, they get audited as well. And also looking at Bureau of Public Debt. I spent quite a bit of time with those agencies. Also spent some time on the consolidated financial statement audit, consolidated financial statements, auditing those for the federal government, part of that team. And name a federal agency, I've probably been involved in some aspect of their audit, financial statement audit over those. As I said, probably about 20 years of the almost 30 that I spent with the GAO looking at that. And then spent some time on program audits. And we're going to talk about, really in the first couple of chapters, we'll get into the different types of assurances that auditors, CPAs can provide, and I think we tend to think of the financial statement aspect right out of the gate, but there are other assurances that CPAs can provide, and one of them is program audit. And so I spent about 10 years or so doing program audit, looking at various federal programs, primarily those dealing with community investments. So I was on audits of the Department of Housing and Urban Development, even some of the Troubled Asset Relief Program, the TARP program aspects. When President Obama came in, he added sort of the Main Street component to the TARP, helping folks get out of some of the mortgages that helped bring on the financial crisis. And so we were looking to see how some of that was working as well. I've been teaching for almost 21 years, obviously some of that being simultaneous with the GAO work. So I spent time teaching the CPA exam. I still teach that. I teach for Becker Professional Education, which is the largest CPA review course in the world, teaching mainly the financial and auditing sections of the exam. I do have some information in one of our modules talking about the CPA exam requirements for licensure, requirements for sitting for the exam, and you can take a look at some of that. And if there are questions about that, I'm more than happy. You've probably already seen my email, my phone number. There are questions about the CPA exam, whether you've met the requirements. We can set up a time where I can help you to figure out if you've met the requirements for the exam licensure and sitting for the exam as well. But there's some information there that you can take a look at. In addition to teaching the CPA exam, I obviously teach at colleges here at College of San Mateo. This is my first semester. I also teach at San Francisco State. I teach governmental accounting and introductory to financial Introduction to Managerial and Cost Accounting there. Been there for about 3 years. I also teach at San Jose State. I teach their governmental accounting, their Introduction to Financial there as well. And before that, I taught at Golden Gate University, and I taught auditing there as well as governmental accounting. So just a little bit about my background, both teaching and professional. But looking forward to this semester, helping you to get through your auditing course, understand something about the profession, obviously, but also help you to understand the living, breathing practice of auditing. And it really is something that has a physical aspect to it. And I think that sometimes where students struggle in understanding auditing is, it's words on the page, but and you need to think about visualizing yourself doing some of the things that we're going to be reading in the book and seeing in the homework assignments, etc. But if you actually picture yourself doing some of these things, sometimes that's helpful. So you actually get to use your imagination sometimes to visualize some of these things. And from time to time, I'll have videos like this that will help you to help us to talk through some of the things that may be a little tougher to understand just from reading them off the page. So I'm looking forward to working with you on that. If you're seeing this video, you have found your way into Canvas. This may be new for some of you. I know that a lot of classes here at College of San Mateo use web access, but we are moving now over to Canvas. So going forward in the near future, your courses will be using this system. So I wanted to spend a little bit of time helping you to see some of the aspects of Canvas here. You probably already clicked on the Start Here button that sort of navigates you here in the early going through the syllabus, etc. But you've also probably seen, and I'm not sure which side it's on here, I think it might be on this side, but you've seen the panel there on the side where they are giving you the modules, and you'll see modules there, and I think that's probably not a bad place for you to look and click in to see the modules there, and then you'll see dropping down the various information that we posted up about the course here for you, including the different chapter information, etc. If you take a look at the syllabus in there, you will see some basic information about the class, and you're probably going to want to quickly find, well, where's the grading, right? And how's that going to work? So let me jump to that. We are going to have 3 exams in this class, 2 midterms and a final, each worth 100 points. The final is not cumulative. That is going to constitute most of your points in this exam. Obviously 300 points in this course, I should say. Obviously 300 points there for the 3 exams. The final is not comprehensive, so it's almost like a 3 midterms, if you will, although we call that last exam the final. The dates, etc., are posted there in the syllabus. You can see those. And we will also have quizzes and homework in the class. For each quiz, each homework, there is 1 point awarded. So for the 16 chapters that we'll be looking at, that will be 16 points for the quizzes, 16 points for the homework, for a total of 32 points. So not a lot of points, obviously, coming from homework and quizzes. I believe that homework and quizzes are a means to an end, not an end into themselves. So those are really helping you to get ready to, well, obviously helping you to understand the material, but then obviously helping you to get ready for those 3 exams. My philosophy is that if you do well on the homework, you do well on the quizzes, that should translate into success on the exam, and then obviously success in the course, and you should be walking away with a good understanding of the auditing world. So that's really what we're striving for. With the homework, the chapter that will be covered by a midterm, the chapters that will be covered by a midterm, that homework will be due on the same day that the midterm is due. So you really don't need to turn any of that in until you're going to have the test for that materials. For example, midterm 1 is going to be, and check on the syllabus, with September 16th. I'm recollecting is the date that we put down for that. It will cover chapters 1 through 5. The homework and the quizzes for chapters 1 through 5 will also be due on September 16th. And if you don't turn them in on September 16th, then you don't get credit for them. Now, someone might look at that and say, okay, well, you're setting it up so we should do everything the night before the tests, do all the homework, do the quizzes, everything. That's not the intent. What I'm trying to do is give you the maximum flexibility to work through and have this course, being an online course, work to your schedule. And so I don't want to put it so that you have to turn everything in by certain days, but by the same token, I think keeping up with sort of the weekly layout of the material is your best bet. But if you fall a little behind, it won't kill you. You'll have time to catch up. But I do strongly recommend that you stay with the schedule the way it's laid out, doing your weekly homework, doing your weekly quizzes, and then you should be ready for the exam on the date of the exam. We are using a McGraw-Hill book, which I have right here. Okay, this is your book. This mountain or iceberg or whatever this thing is on the front of it. Okay, and I'm not sure that's how that's looking on the screen for you, but it looks something like that. You can see that it's a McGraw-Hill product that we'll be using. Okay, so a couple of different options as to how you will pick up the book. You can go to the bookstore, College San Mateo bookstore, pick it up there, buy it there, and when you do, there will be contained with the book an access code to something called Connect. Connect is McGraw-Hill's learning system, and you will be able to connect to Connect right here in Canvas. And I'm not sure what side they put the panel on next to me here once I post this video. But if you click on McGraw-Hill Connect link there, that will then prompt you to enter that access code if you have purchased that from the bookstore. If you haven't purchased the book from the bookstore, you can still proceed by just purchasing directly through Canvas and through then linking you to McGraw-Hill, and you can just purchase it right here. I mean, you could do this as soon as you're done. You could stop this video now and go and purchase the book if you wanted to through McGraw-Hill, and no need to go to the bookstore for that. So you have that option. If you're saying, well, geez, if I purchase it here, then how will I get the book? They will send you a loose leaf version of the book, and that ships pretty quickly, and you can have that. But there's also the ebook that once you get into McGraw-Hill, that's Connect, that you'll be able to use in looking at the material for the various chapters, etc. So that's the couple of options. Either of those are equally effective to go through. And what you do once you put in the information about the access code, or you purchase the access code right there on the site when you come in, you will be able to then access all of your homework. And so once you do that the first time, then from now on when you do your homework, you will simply click on McGraw-Hill Connect, and that will take you into Connect, where I have selected various homework assignments for you and various quizzes that you will work there in Connect. And you can also see the homework assignments in the assignments link inside of Canvas here as well. So that might be easier for you once you've gone ahead and purchased the access code, etc. Once you pair the access code, you don't have to do that ever again. And so each week you can just come in and click on the quizzes, click on the homework, and it'll take you into the homework and quizzes, etc. that are being done inside of Connect. And then those will submit automatically on the due date. And if you haven't done anything with those, you haven't attempted those, you don't get any points for them. If you've attempted them, you get that 1 point. Again, I would strongly advise that you keep up with that, even though it's not due until the material covered by the midterm is due. But again, I don't recommend waiting till last minute on some of those things, because then you're going to need to take the test, and the tests will be very similar to the quizzes. So that's the best way to get through the material there. Clicking on the assignments in Canvas, taking to McGraw-Hill Connect, working your homework assignments in Connect, and then once you have gone through and done those, and those will submit. And you will see, if you look at grades, you'll see that as you complete the homework assignments and those are submitted, you'll see that you'll get the 1 point for each of those. And then as you complete the exams, which will also be done in Connect, and as I said, they'll be very similar to the quizzes that you've worked in Connect, then the system will automatically provide your grade into the grade book as well. So you'll be able to follow your progress looking at the grade book as you move along. You've seen my phone number, you've seen my email, so you are more than welcome, obviously, to email and call me with questions. The email that Canvas has for you is the email that I will be using to disseminate information to class, you should probably use that email. You can use a different email with that if you like, but you're going to have to make some changes so that it goes to that different email. But if you don't change that, and you're saying, gee, how come I didn't receive an email from John on some subject or something, it's probably because you are still using, you haven't logged into your College of San Mateo email, which is what Canvas has for you in there now. So I'm pretty much recommending you just leave it with that, and then remember to routinely check your College of San Mateo email. I will have discussions. There's no points awarded for discussion, thus there's no requirement that you participate in discussions, but I think that it's very helpful for you to think about some of those things that I'm putting down in a discussion and participate with your classmates in getting involved in answering those questions and thinking about some of the subject matter that we have put there. I am also going to advise that you use the question form for questions. Not personal, hey, how come I got a B? I thought I got an A on the test. Not that kind of stuff, but more for questions regarding just basic things about the chapter material, about the course, etc. I think is going to be the good place for you to put those questions, because other students may have similar questions. So please use that question form as well. I think a lot of what you see on Canvas is pretty self-explanatory. You probably have clicked through or will click through the syllabus here pretty quickly, and you'll see some of the information I've already discussed about the exams, my background, some of those things. But there's also, I'm going to provide a link in there for, tutorials, etc. about Canvas itself, the requirements for your computer system to be able to use it, some recommendations as to which browser you use, that sort of thing. So you'll take a look at some of those things and get a sense as to how those work. Study process here, what I'm going to recommend, not required, but I'm going to be posting up the slides that come with the textbook with my notations, comments, etc. on those. And I believe, even though that's really something that's optional, that's going to be a helpful starting point for you to look through those, see some of the comments that I made about some of the slides, which translate into then what you will see in the text reading. And so we have, chapter by chapter text reading. Usually we're going to do one chapter a week. I think this first week we have two because they're pretty general information. But going forward, it'll be one chapter a week. Slides, look through the chapter material. The reason I like to start with the slides because I think it provides a little bit more of a structure as to what you're then looking at in the text material. Read through the text material. I would then work the homework as your next step, and then finally go ahead and work the quizzes for that chapter. And you can work those homework questions as many times as you want. There's no penalty for learning. If you get it wrong the first time, as long as you've attempted it, you're going to get the points for it. So I wouldn't be afraid to jump in and mess with those homework assignments and those quizzes as soon as possible, chapter by chapter as contemplated in the timing shown on there's a detailed schedule, the syllabus. It talks about week to week what chapters we're going to cover. So I would recommend, jumping in, diving in, enjoying those homework assignments, enjoying those quizzes, because that's going to then lead you to the promised land where you're going to do well on the exam. But I'll be putting slides up for each of the chapters with my notations, my comments, and as I said, from time to time, I'll do a face-to-face like this. Again, auditing being a practice, so there's times where we need to talk about how some of those things would work, and so I'll do this from time to time as well, so you get a sense as to how I'm visualizing and thinking about some of the material. So that is our introductory video. I'm going to let you dive in now, and hopefully you will enjoy this course, and I think that you'll be successful with it, following sort of our study program that we've laid out here. And again, questions about anything. I've talked to a lot of students over the years about this profession and the opportunities. Accountants and CPAs are in demand. You're picking a good time to be taking this class and jumping into the profession. So if there's anything I can help with on that, don't hesitate. Okay, I'll be more than happy to we can do a video chat, or we can meet face to face, whatever, to help you through that process. Okay. All right. Well, looking forward to it, and we will talk soon. Thanks.